So once again, I welcome you all in today's demo session of this 1 month certificate course of Python to AI/ML project. I am the lead trainer at Edrix Technology, Dr. Rizwan. I have certifications for AI/ML from IIT Chennai, NILIT Chennai, and I have experience of teaching students of various colleges and universities all over the India, and including the students of BTech final year at IIT Goa. And I was also associated with the spoken tutorial project of IIT Bombay. I was also associated with the development of the books for junior software development and Python programming, especially for NCERT 11th and 12th class books. So I was there in a project with NCERT Bhopal. And this is my email ID and contact number, so you can feel free to contact me if you have any further query or you want to discuss something more. So now let me go to the topics that let me tell you that you need to know if you want to cover all those things that is required for AI/ML project. But before that, of course, if you are going to use Python programming for completing an AI/ML project, then you need to have a Python overview, then how you will install your Python interpreter, then how you can use Google Colab files for Python programming, and what are the basic data types in Python. So these are the things that you will start with. Next, control structures. Like in any programming language, we start with if else, and the concept of loops like for loop, while loop. So that we in general study in very beginning in most of the programming language. So that also we need to have idea of all those things. And if you have exposure to any other programming language like C or C++, then it will be easy for you to catch all those things and you will take less time to learn all those things. Then there is a concept of structural pattern matching that has been introduced in Python 3.10 version. So that is similar to switch case structure in C or C++, if you are aware with switch case structure. Otherwise, we will be discussing. Then most importantly, the data types that we have in Python programming, and especially sequence data types like string, list, tuples, and dictionaries. Then we should know about the GUI development libraries like tkinter and other libraries, matplotlib, in Python programming. And the standard libraries for which the Python programming language is very much popular for development of AI/ML projects. So these libraries are NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, scikit-learn that we use for ML projects, and TensorFlow if you are going to do any deep learning project. So we should have the knowledge, basic knowledge of all these things. Then we can switch to development of a complete AI/ML project. So I would like to start with the brief introduction of Rizwan, who has actually led the team for Python development. So there are some books like Internet Programming with Python, an Introduction to Python in 2003. So, and few other books and YouTube tutorial links you will get on this slide. So I will be sharing all these slides and links of these books. So you can go through these books for further learning. Otherwise, some YouTube tutorials in which Rizwan himself explains that what was in his mind whenever he was actually developing this Python programming language. So it will be really inspiring and fascinating that you will be going through a video in which he himself explaining that what was in his mind during the development of Python programming, why he started the development of a new programming language. So formally, Python is an object-oriented programming language. It is easy to learn. Why easy to learn? Because syntax-wise, it is easy. And it is very efficient in high-level data structures that I told you, that different type of data structures, built-in data structures we already have in Python. And syntax-wise, typing-wise, it is very easy. And it follows the concept of Python interpreter. It means line by line, it will be executing your code. So if there will be any bug in that code, so you will be able to get that bug and you can debug there. So it is not like C or C++ in which we compile the complete program in one go. So compiler is not there for Python programming. We have the concept of interpreter. And this is the official website of python.org, from where you can download it free. So this is the official website. You can download it free. Then Python, ideally, if is a simple, ideally integrated development and learning environment, if you will download, so it will look like this. Otherwise, you have the facility of running your code on directly or through your browser. If you have good internet connection, then let me tell you that through your Gmail account you can create a Google Colab file, and through that you can easily write your code in Google Colab file, and it will be something like your Jupyter notebook that you can run on your browser simply. So you will write your code and you can run your code, and you will be getting output for that code, so that you can do without downloading and installing that Python interpreter on your computer or on your device. If you want to use it directly online, then you can use Google Colab files. Then let me tell you about the basic data types that we have in Python. Like in other programming languages, also we have these built-in data types like numbers. In numbers, we will be having integer. Then one more subcategory for which you have only two values like 0 and 1, true and false. Then we can further categorize it as Boolean data types. If you have like values in which you are going to use decimals like 2.5, 2.3, then it will come under floating point numbers. And here we have a different category. I hope if you are aware with the complex numbers, where we have some real part and imaginary part, where we use I or iota to represent that imaginary part. So complex number is itself a different data type in Python. Then we have our data type sequence. So in sequence we have a list of numbers, list of values. If you want to store under one name, that you can use like strings. Strings means like your name, your address, that you can store as strings, where you have some sequence of characters. Next we have list. So list, you can say if you have some values but you want to store it as list. Then we have tuples, also the concept of tuples that we will be discussing in detail. Then the concept of sets, that set a well-defined collection of objects that we in general study in mathematics. So same type of concept we have in data type sets. And then amazingly, we have a exclusive data set for none. So if you are not sure about the value of a particular variable, that you know that there is no value for that particular variable, then you can assign it that none data type, or it will be acquiring that none data type. It means there is no value for that literal. Then we have another data type, mappings. In mappings we have dictionaries. It means for each value each key there will be a value. It means key value pairs we will be creating. So it is something like that. If you have a particular roll number for each student name, so roll number and student will be associated uniquely. So this type of concept, if you want to apply in Python, then you can use dictionaries. So this type of exclusive data type we have in Python. So you can see that overview wise, of course we will be discussing all those things in detail. But overview wise, if you will see that you have a very rich data types in Python programming, if you will compare it with C or C++. So that's why it will give you flexibility as a programmer to represent your real world data in more you can say flexible and feasible way. Whenever you are going to solve a problem, to represent data types, you have a variety of data types in especially Python programming. So that we have a simple question for you. If you have attended that last webinar, I hope you will be familiar with these questions and you can answer it easily. So the first question is that in C and C++, we need to declare a variable. If you want to make a variable integer, then we can write at int, then variable name. But in Python, do we need to declare type of variable? If we want to use any variable, so do we need to declare its type like integer, character, float, that we need to declare exclusively or not? So your answer should be yes or no. So for that, I would request you to write in chat box whatever is your answer. Do we need to declare type of variable in Python? Just let me know. You can write in chat box. No. Okay. So if you have attended earlier webinars, so you will be familiar with these questions. So I am going directly to another question that we have, that is, what will be the value of 10 by 4 in Python programming? I'm not asking in C or C++, but in Python programming, 10 by 4 will be 2 or 2.5. So I know that these questions you have gone through if you have attended the last webinar, but again, we have these questions, so you can answer. 2.5, Shivani, 2.5, great. So let me tell you that in C or C++, if you will actually calculate this thing, that what will be the value of 10 by 4, then it will be 2. Because 10 is an integer, 4 is an integer. So in C or C++, by default, it will be calculated as an integer. But in Python, just to avoid the loss of information, because if you are going to store 2, then 0.5 value will be lost. So that's why in Python, if you will actually run this, so let me open a collab file. So let me open a new collab file that we can use. So this is a collab file environment. So a new notebook, we can take it from here. Otherwise, I will share you a tutorial in which I have actually recorded that how you can create a new collab file and then how you can do programming. Okay. So this is your first demo session. So I will be sharing this complete collab file link with you. So that is today is 24th September 2025. Okay, so just let me tell you that if you are going to calculate 10 by 4, so what will be the answer? So 2.5. But in C or C++, if you will run this expression, evaluate this expression, you will get 2. So that will be information, loss of information of 0.5 value. But here in Python, it will automatically take care of loss of information. So it will automatically calculate it as 2.5, because in real life also, in general, in our daily life calculation also, we don't want to lose the information. Okay, so we just calculate it as 2.5, and that actually Python interpreter is also doing for you. So that is the beauty in Python programming language. So let me come to our slides again, and then let me tell you about control structures. So if you are familiar with C or C++, I hope you will be able to get all those things very easily. Like in selection control, where you have to select some the control on the basis of some conditions. Then we have if. So after if condition is there, then condition is true, then whatever you have after if, that will be executed. Otherwise it will not be executed. In if else, what will be the flow of control? After if, you will write a condition, and if that condition is true, then the statement after that will be executed. Otherwise that control will go to the else part, and whatever you will write after else, that will be executed. So if else means only one situation will be executed. If this condition is true, then if part will be executed, otherwise else part will be executed. Similarly, you can create if else if ladder also. Then I hope you will be knowing about loop control or repetition control structures also. Like in C, C++, we have for, while and do while, but here we have for and while exclusively, two types of loops. So if you will go through syntax of if statement, then if is a keyword, then after that condition we will write. So let me tell you that in C, C++ you have to use parentheses for condition, but here you don't have this type of syntax. Simply if you will write, then after that in condition you will write, then colon you will give, and in next line after some margin, okay, you will write the statements that you want to execute for if condition. Okay, so something like this. Like age is equal to int input, enter your age. I will explain that what does we mean by this one. But for if condition, let me tell you that if you will write age is greater than equal to 18. So this is the condition part. then colon you have to write, and in next line you will write print eligible to vote. So if the age that you will input here, that is greater than or equal to 18, it will print eligible to vote, otherwise it will not print that thing eligible to vote. Okay, similarly you can go for if else, like if, then condition you will write, then a statement for if, then else part, then colon you have to use. So you have to keep in mind that in if condition, then colon you have to use, for else part also colon you have to use, and then a statement you will be writing. So this example we will be doing on collab file. Like age, first we will tell that user to input the age, and then if age is greater than equal to 18, then print eligible to vote, else print not eligible to vote. It is a very simple question for demonstrating the use of if else. So I am not going to explain all those things through slides. Let me go to collab file. We will directly do it, and if you have access to some Python interpreter like collab file or Jupyter, if you have, so you can do it with me. That first what we will do, we will take age as input, okay, and then we will tell user to enter your age in years simply, and whatever he will input, he or she will input, we will convert it to integer. So I will explain you whatever I have written in code. So age means age is a variable that will store what? Integer value of the input function we have, where we are writing enter your age. So whatever he will write as age, he or she will write as age, that will be converted to integer, and that integer value will be stored to age. Okay, so that is the scenario that we are going to take actually from user. Then we will apply if condition. So before that, what we are going to write, then the next line we can take for if, then condition directly, like age, because we have created this variable age, if age is greater than equal to, okay, greater than equal to 18, because equal to 18 also we are going to validate for eligible to vote. So if age is greater than 18, what we want to do, we want to simply print. So print is what? Print is a function. It is just like printf in C, okay, or C out in C++. So if you are familiar with C or C++, then you can easily get. Otherwise, directly print function we will use. So whatever we will write within parentheses and double quotes, that it will print, that you will get on a screen. So eligible to vote. Okay, so this one is for if part. Then for else part, what we will do, that else part, so we have to maintain, let me tell you, that you can see that if, then condition, then colon, then in next line there is some margin. Okay, so that indentation or margin you have to maintain. So that indentation, that gap you have to maintain. You can try it with the same margin or same indentation as you have started if. So there will be some gap for print statement. Then for else also we will use, what we will do, that we will write print and then not eligible to vote, not eligible to vote. So that is a very simple, we can say, example by which you can get idea of if else. So what we will do, first we will run this cell, age int input. Input means it will ask some input. So what, with this message, enter your age. So enter your age. So I am going to write like 25. So after that we have to press enter. So what it will do, that 25 will be stored in this variable age. Now if you will run this one, then you will get that age as we have entered 25. So 25 is greater than 18. So this condition is true. So condition true means first statement print eligible to vote. So that will be executed. It means it will be printing eligible to vote. That's why we are getting eligible to vote. But if you will do like this, like if you are going to write that age is 13, if you are going to enter, then if you will print it, then not eligible to vote. Why? Because that 13 is not greater than equal to 18. That condition is false. So you will come to else part, and in else part you have print not eligible to vote. So not eligible to vote will be printed. So that is the simplest example of if else. So if you are familiar with C or C++, I hope you will be getting all those things very clearly. But in Python, syntax will be little bit different, because in C or C++ you have to use some parentheses, some brackets, but here we have to write it without parentheses and indentation, that space we have to manage. Okay. So if you have any other statement like that, so you have to write with the same indentation. Okay. So like that you will be doing in Python programming. So this was the simplest example. Now let me come to that, check whether a number is positive, negative or zero. Okay. So for that also you can write with the help of if number is greater than 0, then print number is positive. If also you can do if you have a intermediary few conditions like number is less than 0, so number is negative. Otherwise in last you can write directly else print number is 0. So these slides I will be sharing with you, so you can go through all these programming codes and then you can do your practice. Then let me come to structural pattern matching. Structural pattern matching, it means that pattern will be matched, then only that condition will be actually followed. So it is something like switch case structure in C or C++. Okay. So for the time being, I am going to skip. I will be explaining all those things. But before that, let me come to the loop part. Like for loop, we in general use whenever we want to execute a statement for a number of times. For example, if you want to print natural numbers from 1 to 10, what you are going to do in general, you use for loop. Okay. So loop we use when you want to repeat that statement, execution of that statement for more than once. So similarly, we have for loop and while loop in Python programming. So for what will be the syntax? Let me tell you that for you will write, then control variable, then in sequence or items in range, and then statements that you want to keep inside body of the loop. So don't worry for this syntax. Let me come to the example directly, then you will get that point. So count is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So what is actually count? Count is a list, or count is a sequence in which you are going to store 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. As I told you, in Python, in sequence data types, we can keep a number of values in a single variable. Okay. If you want to print all those values, then what you will do for num? So num will be representing each element one by one. So num in count, in is a keyword, for is a keyword. Okay. And count is a actually the name of this list or name of this sequence. Okay. So we will write like for num in count and then print num. Print num means the value of num will be printed. So it will be printing all those things one by one. So it will be little bit, you will find that syntax is little bit different from the C, C++ or Java. So if you are familiar with all those concepts like loop and if else, you need to focus only on syntax. That only with few examples you should go through the syntax of the Python, that how you will write these loops and these statements in Python. So for example, I am going to write this count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There it was 10, 20, but I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope you are getting this point. So first line, if you are getting this point, that why I have written like this, what is count? Count is a sequence. As I told you that in Python, we have sequence also a type of data. So here we are writing within square brackets. It means it is a list. So actually in sequence we have a category of list data type. So count is a list. List means a number of items you can keep here in count itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 elements we have. So this with this statement we have created a list whose name is count and elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you got the basic idea about count. Next, let me come to that how you will apply this for loop for printing all the elements for n in count. Okay, then colon. So just let me explain that what I have written. For is a keyword, in is a keyword, but n we have written for n in count. N in count means n will be representing each element one by one. Like for first element n will be 1, for second element n will be 2, for this n will be 3. If you are going to change it like 10, 20, 30, so whatever be the value of element, it will change for n. Okay, so for n in count, so that depends on you that what name you want to use for this variable for representing elements. You can write n or num, so that you are free. But in count means in this list you want to get the elements. Okay, so after that you will write whatever you will write, that will be executed for all the elements like n. Okay, or num, if you have written then num. Then if you will print this, so it will be printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that num, for print num, so for first element it was 1, then for second element it was 2, then 3, 4, then 4, then 5, and then till last element 5 it will be printing. So it is little bit different from the for loop or the syntax of for loop that we have in Python, in C or C++. So you have to do, you have to learn it with different examples, then only you will be able to get. So we have few other examples that I will be sharing with you, but quickly I am going to tell you overview of sequence data types like string we have, list and tuples. So now let me tell you that if we continue this session for next 10 to 12 minutes, so it will be okay, or otherwise I will be covering this thing in next session. And after me for today's session, Mr. Pawan will be explaining few things related to a Python project. So what is your feasibility? Should I continue for next 10 minutes? Are you available? So you can write in chat box that it is you are available, or yes or no. Accordingly I will discuss the next topic. I will start the next topic, because I will, if I will start, that will take 10 to 15 minutes. Yes or no? What do you want actually? Maybe.
Yes.
Sachin, yes. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Great, great. Yes. Okay. So what I am going to tell you about these sequence data types, because these are very important data types and we frequently use in our programs and projects of Python or AIML, these data types. That's why I am going to tell you about this. So let me tell you about sequence data types, like we have string, list and tuples. So let me tell you first about string. So string means if you have a name of some person or address of some place, then you have a sequence of characters. So for that you will be using a string sequence data type, where you will be using Unicode characters. Unicode characters means simply all your A to Z alphabets in small and capital, all these digits 0 to 9, and special characters also allowed. Okay, but you have to write it within quotes, like single quote or double quote, or thrice the double quote, or single quote 3 times. If you are writing it within quotes, it will be treated as a string. Okay, you don't need to explicitly declare the type of this variable as a string, like str we write in C or C++. You don't need to write. You have to keep the value, that value or that you want to be treated as a string, within double quotes or single quotes you can use. So you can see that this will be single quote, double quote, or thrice the double quote, or thrice the single quote. That is the flexibility in Python. So whatever format you will be following, that will be treated as a string. So you can create a string easily with the help of quotes. Then if you are going to write like this, hello world, then welcome to the world of Python. So if you are using actually three times double quote or 3 times single quote, then there is a flexibility that you can extend your string to next line also. If your string is only in one line, then you can use double quote or single quote once. But if you are having a long string, then you can use 3 times double quote, then you can extend that string to another line also. So that is the thing. Next, let me tell you about list. So in list, where we are going to use the list? If you have different values, for example 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or if you have even like that 10, 20.5, then 30.5. So different data types also, if you have some this type of values and if you want to store it in a single variable, there you can use list. Okay. So in list, you can store a different values, and those values can be of different data types. Like one will be integer, second one you can keep float, third one you can keep string. So let me tell you, it is not something like an array that you create in C or C++, if you are familiar with the concept of array. In arrays, what you can do, only a similar data type like integer array, if you are going to create, then all the elements will be integer only. But in list, you have the flexibility that first element you can keep as integer, second or third element you can keep as float. So that is the beauty of this data type. And for each element you will have some index. Like for first element, index will be 0, for second element it will be 1. So that index or the number or position number of that element will be starting from 0. That you have to keep in mind. That is something like the index values we have in arrays. Okay. So if you are going to create a list 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So for 2, what will be the index? 0. For 4, it will be 1. For 6, it will be 2. Because indexing of the elements of a list starts with 0. That you have to keep in mind. So without discussing all those things in only on slides, let me go to our collab file. Okay. So what I am going to do, simply I am going to take actually new cell, and what I am going to do, that like S1 I am going to create for a string. First let me just give you some examples. Hi. So this will be treated as a string. So how you will check? Simply write type of S1. So you can check that what is the type of S1. So it is str. Str means string. Okay. But if you have multiple lines in your string, like hi, how are you, then you can't write it with directly only one single quote. Then you have to use 3 times, okay, double quotes. Okay, then 3 times double quotes you have to use, and within 3 times double quotes you have to write. That's also okay. It is again a string. Okay. So that was about a string that we will discuss in detail, but here we are having just the overview of these data types. But now let me come to a list like L1 if we have. Okay. So in L1, what we are going to create, 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is a list. So how we can create a list? We have to keep all those elements within square brackets. So if you are writing all these elements within square brackets, it will be automatically treated as a list. So just let me check that what is the type, data type of L1 that we have created. So you can go through that. That type of L1 is list because we are using square brackets. Just let me tell you that if you will use parentheses, then it will be treated as a tuple. If you will use flower braces or middle brackets, it will be treated as a set. So that is the beauty of Python, that only at the time of declaring it or time of initializing the values, it will be automatically detect the type of those that variable that you have created, sequence that you have created as list, tuple, or anything else like a string. If you are writing within double quotes, or then it will automatically take the data type of that sequence. Okay. Now let me tell you that L1 we have 10, 20, 30, 40. If we are going to write like this, like in L1, I want to access the first element. So what I will do, L1, then within bracket I will write 0. 0 means first element. So what is the first element here? 10. So if you will run this, then L1 0 will be 10. Okay, so now let me know that in chat box you can write that for 40 what will be the index. For 40 what will be the index, what I should write to get L1 within bracket for getting 40. So you need to know the index of 40. So can you write in chat box that what will be the index of 43? Okay, Divyanshi 3, Satakshi 3. So I am expecting few more responses. Let me show you again what we have in L1. So we have in L1 10, 20, 30, 40 and we start the index with 0. So for 10 it will be 0. Okay, 20 it will be 1. 30 it will be 2. So for 40 it will be 3. So if you want to access the element that has value 40, so index number will be 3. Let me check 40. Okay, now there is the last question that I am going to ask related to list, that if I am going to write like this L1 and then minus 4, okay, then what will be the value? Because I have used negative indexing. But let me tell you that I haven't told you anything about negative indexing in list. Okay, but can you guess, can you do something? If you are able to run this thing, then you can run and tell that what will be the value for L1 of minus 4. Maybe 0. No, 0 will not be there. Actually, for in some particular index, you will have some element actually. So element will be either 10, 20, 30 or 40. So like that, any element you will be getting. Let me tell you. So for minus 4, what we will be getting, just let me run this thing, 10. So it means first element. So let me tell you that negative indexing, if you are following, then in reverse order, from the last element you will start. So for 40 it will be minus 1, 30 minus 2, 20 minus 3 and 10 minus 4. So it will be like that. But we will be discussing all those things again and in detail, let me tell you. So you don't need to worry for all those things. Just we are having overview of all these data types in this session, because we will be discussing all those things in detail. Let me come to the tuple point, the data type tuple. So just in few minutes, let me tell you the overview of tuple. So in list, what you can do, like we have created a list 10, 20, 30, 40. But after some time we feel that no, there is one more item we have to add in list. So 50. So we can easily add in that list. Or if we want to delete any element directly, we can delete from the list. So that is the flexibility, facility to adding new element or deleting some element from the existing list. That's why we call that list is a mutable data type. Mutable means we can change its elements directly. But if you want to keep the sequence fixed, for example, whatever elements you have initialized like 10, 20, 30, 40, now you can't add, you can't delete. If you want to fix like that, then you should not create it as a list. You should take it as a tuple. So how we will create a tuple? Let me tell you that you will write the name of the variable like tuple1 or t1 or l1, that is the identifier, that is the name of the variable that you can keep. There is no problem in that, but it will be treated as a tuple if you are going to keep all those values within a small bracket, within this parenthesis. If you will write this within square brackets, it will be treated as a list. But if you will keep all those elements within parentheses or a small bracket, then it will be automatically treated as a tuple. But in tuple, you can't directly change particular element. For example, in list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you want to change this 3 with 3.5, that you can do easily. But in tuple, you can't do that thing. So that's why tuple is not mutable or immutable, we can say. That is a very frequent question that in most of the interviews this question has been asked, or you may get a question like this, that list is mutable or immutable. Then you should have a very clear idea that list is a tuple actually. Okay, And why it is a tuple? Because you can change the particular element of a list directly. Like L1 you have, but you want to change this 30 as 35. So what you will do, you will write its index as 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2. 2 means that index number is 2. Now you want to assign it a new value like 35. Okay. So that you will go and now try to print this L1, then you will see that that element has been changed 10, 20, 35 and 40. Earlier it was 30, but if you can change directly a particular element of that list, but that is not allowed in actually tuple. So let me create a tuple like T1. T1 we are just writing, you can take any name for that variable, but T1 because we are creating tuple. So 10, 20, 30, 40 we are going to create. So if you will use parentheses, it will be treated as a tuple. So what you will do, tuple, sorry, type of this one, you can check, type of T1. So type of T1 we will check, this is tuple. Then what we will do, we will try to actually first access that element. Let me tell you that which element we have here. 10, 20, 30. 30 means 0, 1, 2. Same indexing will start with 0 here also. So if we will write 3, then for T1 3, of course we will get 0, 1, 2. So I should write 2. Okay. So 30. But if you will, you can access that element with the help of that index. But if you will try to change that directly, like T1 and then index number 2, and directly if you will try to change it to 35, then you will get an error, type error. So you should also know which type of error you are getting. The tuple object does not support item assignment because tuple is actually immutable data type, and you can directly you can't directly change the particular item directly. Okay, there is another way in which you can create a new tuple, all the elements will be copied and the particular element will be changed, but directly you can't change like this. Okay, so that's why it is immutable. So now I hope all of you have this one very clearly, that list is mutable data type and tuple is immutable. And why it is mutable and immutable, why we call it mutable and immutable, tuple is immutable and list is mutable. Now I hope that you will be having a clear idea. So list is mutable data type, tuple is immutable data type. So I think this is the thing that I wanted to discuss in first demo session, and I hope you will be getting all those things very clearly. So now I would request Mr. Pawan to demonstrate few things, that how you can start a Python project, AI/ML project, but he is not going to discuss all those things in detail. Initially, what you have to do, that he will be explaining in very brief. So please stay with us. Thank you very much. So Pawan, can you start sharing? Then if you will be having any query, then you may ask. Okay.
Okay, so am I audible?
Yes, Pawan, you are
Yes.
audible.